And we're live. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Crypto Kindness channel. I am here with the, I'm going to say maybe one of the more controversial founders. I could never have imagined when we were first streaming that I would be saying that, but we're here today, and I promise you, you're going to get scammed. You're going to get scammed by kindness. That's me, Crypto Kindness, here to talk with Jack about all the questions, all the controversy, anything you can imagine. And I think there's a lot of it out there, Jack, because this is the first time I've ever had 80 people waiting to hear me run about the mouth. So how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me again. Yeah, it's amazing engagement we're having with. I guess the people want to people want to see how we're exactly going to kill them with kindness or scam them with kindness, right?
Yeah, I mean, here's a perfect example. The first two comments are not friendly. You know, people are saying you're a snake and it's a waste of time and money. Great. I'm glad y'all are here. Let's discuss that. That's the whole point.
Perfect.
If you have questions, if you have concerns, let's come ask them, man. Just kind of, try to be nice about it in the comments. Why are people calling you a snake, Jake? Jack? I don't want to say Jake. Jack.
I don't know. I thought it was very likable.
I mean, I think so. I enjoy having you on the streams. We're having a good time together. But yeah, there seems to be this idea. Some people are saying you vampire attacked the Hexakin community, the Hex community, whatever the heck they want to be called. What is that all about?
So I actually don't even know what that is. I thought people are people, and people that I meet, they're just people of the world. So I not really familiar with how a vampire would look, even though I think somebody mentioned that I'm really 125 years old. So maybe
really,
maybe that is the question, like why do I not age?
Yeah.
So maybe that.
Okay. Well, I've heard some conversations saying you came into the, I guess we'll call it the Richard Hart community, if you will. And you could have gone to a lot of places. You could have gone to the Solana community or AVAX community. There's a couple, or Cardano has a pretty big community, but you came into our community. You engaged with a lot of people, and then you launched a coin that I guess, there's two sides. There's a lot of people that have reached out to me, and I know you, that are very excited about it and they want to learn. But there's also a lot of people that are like, well, hey, you came in here to extract money out of people that are in the Hex community. So I guess I'll ask the question, why, of all the places you could have gone to engage with people, what attracted you to the Hex community?
Well, to be perfectly honest, it was really by accident.
Okay.
I think I was skimming through Twitter, and I saw Pulse Chain conversations, and I was interested in new blockchains. And I just wanted to do some research, and so I started asking questions, and one thing led to another, and then for some reason, I guess people wanted to stream with me and ask me questions about my Bitcoin experience and how long I've been in crypto and what's been happening in Google. And I was an early Googler, so I guess it's an interesting story in itself. And yeah, I mean, completely by accident. And funny enough, like a week later, as I learned about Pulse Chain, I got a postcard with Hex in the mail, and I didn't even think that Hex has anything to do with Pulse Chain.
Okay.
And then after a little bit more research, I figured, and people told me like this actually has the same founder. And so as I started learning more about Pulse Chain and Hex community, I kind of realized that a lot of people in the community are really attracted to first principles of crypto, which really resonated with me because I believe in first principles. People were not calling that first principles. That's what I call it. And just engaging with interesting people got me into conversations what the first principles is really all about, which is self-custody, censorship resistance, and Satoshi's white paper, what he stood for when he came up with that paper. And so I just found it having really, really good conversations about what it means to be in blockchain, or doing any sort of crypto. And so basically I was getting stream requests every week, and I was having a lot of fun. Like I didn't have a microphone, I didn't have a camera, I didn't know how to stream properly, I didn't have a channel, and people educated me how to do this properly. So it was a lot of interesting learning experience to me. So I felt that I'm having fun. A lot of people having fun. We're talking about topics we love, and that, I guess, summarizes my initial engagement. So, and then as things progressed, people just started asking me, when is Jack coin? And I'm like, well, people are asking for a coin, maybe I should make one. And so I thought, I'll make a coin, I'll call it ACV, apple cider vinegar coin, and it's going to be a fun project. ACV, $ACV. And people kind of really got excited about it. Somebody was showing their refrigerator full of apple cider vinegar, and they called it the proof of vinegar protocol.
Oh, wow.
And so I thought, wow, there's a really lot of resonance. And then I thought, okay, well, we could do a fun coin, but there's a lot of fun coins out there. There's Shiba Inu, and there's Doge, and there's cat coins now, and all kinds of Inu coins. And so I thought, okay, well, if I were to launch anything, and what would I do? And I thought that maybe I should make it serious. Maybe I should build in the first principles of the crypto that or the coin that I would launch, and I would build it into the project itself. And the tenets of the first principles are obviously self-custody, no admin keys, and I felt that if we don't launch the coin with an allocation for the founders, then it's going to be even closer to how Bitcoin launched. And I thought it would be an interesting experiment to do it. And so took me about a week. I wrote the white paper, and I released that white paper on Twitter, and I got a lot of positive feedback on the paper. And it was just a bunch. I mean, I really just didn't even call it the white paper. I called it a light paper.
I saw that. I remember that.
And because it was a draft, I called it the draft because I didn't really think that anybody would like it, or I just didn't know what to expect. But as I released it, I was just getting a lot of positive comments, how cool that is, and people were definitely would want to participate. And so the project started August 1st. That's where the GitHub commit actually shows. And I wanted to do an open source project so that anybody could contribute. And people were actually contributing. There were pull requests coming in, and the pull request, for those who do not know, it's basically an addition or a change or a proposal for something more interesting. And so those pull requests were coming in, and I was putting them into the code. And obviously it's not just me. There's like few more people out there that were helping me to make sure it's solid and there's no backdoors of any kind. And so August 1st was the first commit, and October 8th, I think, is when we launched Xen, XEN.
Yeah. And so that was what? Oh boy, just 8 days ago. Not even a full 10 days, and it's really taken off. It's the number one thing that's talked about all over the place, and good or bad, it doesn't really matter. It's getting a lot of airtime now. Here's a question I've got for you. This is, where did I see it? This is a statement that I seem to hear a lot that I just don't understand for the life of me. All of that energy could have gone to Hex instead. Help me understand this. I mean, do you get this, Jack? It seems to me like there's kind of this thought process that once somebody buys Hex, they're not allowed to buy anything else. And if anybody makes a coin that takes the interest away from putting more money into Hex, then shame on them. But I see it differently. A statement like this kind of makes, I mean, honestly, it just seems like I got to be careful here because I'm a Hex kin, I'm a Pulse kin, Pulse chain. I'm really bullish on all these things, but I just, critical thinking. It's like, this almost seems like we're desperate. We're desperate. We need that money to stay in our ecosystem, or else.
Well, I think it comes from tribalism, and tribalism, well, I guess maximalism, right? And maximalism is a form of tribalism where you have a club, and the club should have rules, and nobody should like break the rules, even if they're unspoken. So I think that is the situation. And ultimately, I feel like when there's new stuff comes out, some people may feel that the community or attention gets fragmented. And so when there's a singular focus, like for example, Bitcoin guys, the maxis, they don't like even talking about Ethereum at all. They think Ethereum is I guess we can use the language, vampire attack on Bitcoin maximalists, because anything that happens on Ethereum reduces the possibility of Bitcoin rallying harder. And they have stakes. I mean, and by stakes, I mean not necessarily anything staked, but they have a mental stake. Maybe it's also monetary energy plugged into Bitcoin, and they're threatened that if something different takes attention away, then there's less people buying Bitcoin. So I think if there's a singular element out there, like for example Bitcoin or hacks or any coin actually, and you love that thing, and you have money at stake, so to speak, then when attention is taken away on something new, then there's a moment of being threatened. Like what will happen to my stakes, I guess, or my ideas? Are my ideas challenged because a lot of people are paying attention to something else? But that's what freedom and innovation is all about, right? People are free to say what they want, do what they want, come up with what they want, and design things. Like, for example, Google came as a search engine number 7. Did they have a vampire attack on the rest of the search engines?
Kind of.
I mean, or on internet itself, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Google is the largest internet company right now, along with Amazon. I mean, Amazon basically took over the bookstore business initially, and then they took over the retail brick and mortar business. So, but taking over does not necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Things just getting improved over time, and I think we all benefit from things that they're improving everybody's lives.
Agreed completely. I'm going through the chat here and I'm doing my best I can to keep up with it. I appreciate everybody engaging with us, and I ask that you keep it coming. We will discuss everything. If you have an accusation, we'll discuss it. If you have a compliment, we'll discuss it. My whole point of bringing Jack on here again is I really like the guy. We've become friends and I enjoy talking to him. I believe in Xen. And for this reason right here, I wanted to point out this comment. This is by Yannick. Xen is a gateway drug for onboarding people into crypto. I couldn't agree more. It takes $20 to onboard a person into crypto. Jack made it cheaper with all EVM chains. This is how I view this. And I shared this. I had just a really pleasant stream with a gentleman named Randy Hilarski the other day, and we talked about it a little bit. And I shared my thoughts is that some of the videos I've been making, some of the content I've been creating, educating on how to use Xen, what I have seen that I think a lot of people don't see because, either they don't have a channel or they're only on Twitter or something like this, but the number, tens of tens, I would say, but honestly, probably about 100 people have reached out to me and said, this is awesome. This is exactly what I like. It's, barrier of entry is very low. I'm not worried about, this being a project that's going to rug or any of this type of stuff. And the people that have been reaching out to me are brand new to crypto. They don't have Twitter accounts. They don't care about the community or any of this. These are people that are curious, and something about Xen led them to say, this is it. This is the one I'm going to try. This is how I'm going to learn crypto. So Yannick, I agree completely with you that it's a gateway drug is a funny way to put it, but at the end of the day, it's a great way to put it. And then Sante, again, on positive side, Xen took 5 days to take over 5 different chains. 5 days. That's amazing. So how long before it goes global? And I agree with that. I mean, if this is the people's crypto, as I've started to call it, maybe this is a crypto that absolutely everybody holds, in which case today's chart becomes irrelevant, which it's irrelevant anyway, because it's 5 days old. So those are some of the flip sides that I'm seeing in the conversation. Tell us about your excitement level and your thoughts on how quickly Xen took over 5 different chains.
So obviously super excited. Never expected it to be generate so much interest. And in terms of being on 5 chains, that is actually part of the crypto world as itself. I don't see chains as being exclusive. I really see chains doing something very, very similar. They want to bring people into well, I mean, there's many chains, and some are more centrally controlled, some are less centrally controlled. But ultimately, I think people on every chain deserve to play with crypto that is friendly. And for example, on Ethereum today, you could pay $2.50 to engage with the Xen protocol contract. Doesn't cost much money. It's just a little bit of gas, and you get to play with it. You can receive your mint after a day, or you can receive your mint after 400 days, and you learn about interesting things like. Well, obviously, we talk a lot about delayed gratification and the future, and ultimately, I would say launching on 5 different chains was not hard. But was really surprising to me specifically is that the Ethereum proof of work, I had some reservations of launching there, but it was actually a very positive experience so far.
Okay.
And I did mention to people this is an experimental chain. It's been around for just a little bit of time compared to how long Ethereum has been around. And obviously the team is different. But it's interesting in terms of what they're trying to build. And so what they told me is that when Xen launched on ETHPOW, the miners boosted their rewards by 35%. So if you were making $100 a day, you're now making 135. And they also took Xen and they plugged in Xen into every dApp that you can imagine. So there's the Power Swap that is using Xen, and they're giving Xen out to people just for free, just to engage with the dApp. And a lot of people are minting Xen and then learning how to swap Xen and building liquidity pools. And all of it is just with, I would say, almost free money, because ETHPOW was basically a fork of Ethereum. They have the proof of work miners, all the people that had the hardware, they didn't want to throw away the hardware, and they're now running this sidechain, I guess, to Ethereum. But it has all of your coins. So it has all of your USDC, all of your stables. It has hacks. Of course, it's only worth $7 for their version of Ethereum. But it's, I would say, if kind of like free crypto that you can do anything you want with. So it almost costs you nothing to do something there, and yet it gives people an opportunity to learn what they can do with crypto relatively safely, because they have all the copies of the funds right there on that chain. So that chain, I think the founders are very thankful and very excited for the attention that they're getting because Xen is on that chain.
Okay. I mean, it is. You shared that with me, and that is exciting. And it's, I mean, they're giving it to everybody just to get people over there and playing with it. And it's a great way to introduce people to the ETH chain.
Yeah, I think if Zen gives people a chance to learn about crypto, then they can make a choice and swap Zen for something else. Like, for example, you can mint Zen and then you can swap it for their version of USDC or their version of ETH or their version of Hex. So it's totally reasonable option. But it would be a new person, somebody who is onboarded either to their chain or to any other chain. Like on BSC, Binance chain, it costs about 30 cents. On Polygon, it costs 5 cents to engage with the Zen protocol and make some Zen for yourself, or rather to mint it.
Yes.
And then you can do whatever you want with it. You can stake it, you can make a liquidity pool, you can trade it, do all kinds of things, and all at a fraction of a cost, which is just gas cost.
Right. So you just mentioned there, you kind of separated the cost to gas costs. I see, first of all, this is, I think, also another great comment. Zen will help more people find Hex and Pulse Chain. I agree with that. That's one of the reasons why I'm really bullish on Zen, is it will bring in people with first principles thinking, and that's going to lead them right over to Hex and Pulse Chain. And Pulse Chain will be kind of a shining star, especially when the bull market comes back. And it gets really expensive to mint Zen. So the next question is, why is the Zen price chart rapidly declining?
So it's been 7 days or 8 days now.
Well, no, it should have been 1,000x by now. 7 days is not an excuse, and I'm totally kidding.
So Zen is free. Zen is free, but anybody can trade Zen and give it any price they want. So if somebody can plug in Xen into an exchange and go to Uniswap and sell it for $100, does it mean it costs $100? Well, if you can sell it for $100 per one Xen, then to you it does cost that. Now, what will it do to the chart? Well, the chart will start at $100. And then somebody else comes in and sells it for $1 or buys it for $1. Does it mean that you went down 99%? Well, technically, yes, it went down 99% from the first trade to the second trade. And so people have a right to come up with any sort of pricing number that they want. And right now, Xen is in a price discovery mode, which I wouldn't even call it a chart. All it is just a bunch of random data points of people trading. So the chart itself is not indicative of value at this point, because Xen is free to mint. Like, you do not pay to anyone to get Xen. You can buy it from someone, or you can mint it for free for yourself. So perhaps people who were buying Xen for $1.50 didn't realize that they could mint it, but hey, there's nothing we can do about it. There's a lot of people who didn't even read the white paper or understand what the Xen project is all about. They just saw somebody promoting it and it was for sale, so they bought it. And then they realized they can get it for free, and obviously it doesn't cost $100 or $1.50 anymore. I think it did start at $1.50 actually.
It did, and there's something that are, there are people out there that are serial apers, for lack of a better term, and these are people that look at, different chains, and any project that launches right away, they buy immediately, and it's a game they play. It's Russian roulette. They go and they buy it, and 1 out of 10.
Anything new that gets listed on day one, people have some sort of funds to throw at it without any sort of consideration. And
right.
I think that's okay. I mean, that's a freedom what anybody has.
That's absolutely right. And that's basically what happens. Somebody thought, hey, I minted some Xen. I'm going to shoot for the moon and try to sell it for $1. And, this community of people that just buys everything without even looking in it, hoping that it's going to go up. That's probably who bought it. And then everybody else said, oh my gosh, I can sell mine for that price. And immediately the chart started to run away. But that's the price of the coin. So even at 0.5 zeros and a 1, if one Xen costs 0.5 zeros and a 1, it's gone up infinitely because it's free.
It didn't exist. It didn't exist. Yeah, something that has value and didn't exist before technically is up infinity.
Technically up infinity. So this is the best I've ever done in crypto, hands down. Tough to beat. I saw a comment in here, and I'm trying to find it to bring it back up because it was really, really cool. Right here. This is what it's all about. This is what excites me about Xen. My 12-year-old son is minting Xen with 15 wallets. That's the future right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we need, and that's what Xen is bringing into crypto. Straight away. What do you think about this, Jack?
I think is exactly what I wanted to see, is that I wanted to get the 95, 96% of the human population to experience blockchain. And I think us being a little bit longer in the blockchain as a technology is pretty young still. And 96% of people have not considered doing anything with blockchain. And now they can, just by spending from a couple of cents on a Polygon, 30 cents on Binance, and $2, $3 on Ethereum, they could engage. And that sort of engagement is positive for blockchain, period.
Absolutely. I saw a question here. Actually, there we go, from Brizology. There's been a little conversation in the chat saying that this project was launched to purposely drive up the gas fees and utilization on the chains, so that way you could then launch your layer 1 smart contract protocol. So tell us about your plans, or if there are any, to do this.
You mean my evil plan?
Yeah. You got to do it in a Dr. Evil voice. Like
you will hear about my evil plan right now.
I think it's brief.
So people actually did ask me the same question. When is layer 1? So first it was when's Jackcoin. Now it's like, when is layer 1? And so I think there may be a benefit to a layer 1, but I see people doing amazing with their layer 1s. I see Polygon being very interesting. I see Binance having a lot of engagement, and they have a lot of games there, and they're making crypto very, very accessible to for play to earn or NFTs or anything else that they come up with. I see, well, ETHPOW obviously is very new. It didn't exist. Now it does. Like, who would have thought? And there's other chains out there. There's Polkadot, and then there's Cosmos. Right? Nobody's even thinking about those chains, but they're doing an amazing job at building up their ecosystems. So at this point, I kind of don't really see the point of my group or myself considering layer one, just because people out there are probably smarter. They've been in the game much longer. And there's really no point to have another layer one because there's plenty to go around. And they need to be brought up and be accessible. And if we do launch Xen elsewhere, I think those layer ones will benefit. And I think that those communities will also benefit. And they will get the kind of like the contribution of the world's adoption on their chains too. And overall, the market and the people themselves will ultimately decide which chain they want to stay on. And so having a choice is amazing for people. For me, for example, launching layer one and locking Xen there is exclusive. And exclusivity, I never thought, I mean, exclusivity is only 2 degrees of separation from maximalism and then tribalism. And so I feel like not having an exclusive club with a very, very tight rotating door and only let certain people in is anti-Satoshi and anti what blockchain was designed to be.
Absolutely. This is an interesting point, and I think this holds true. Long-term, people will stop minting and buy off of exchanges once the gas fees get too high to mint or to claim. And that very well be the case. We don't know how this is going to, we just don't know how it's going to plan out. If you had a crystal ball, what would you think the future looks like? And I guess before I ask that question, the one thing that I think we need to be very clear about, and I have heard the criticism that there wasn't enough discussion about the expectations of Xen. So let's talk about the expectations of Xen. Clearly, there are a lot of people that thought this was the next Moon Boy meme coin that was going to do a 60x in 5 weeks. And clearly that's not the case. So what are the proper expectations of Xen? It's a free coin. There is only a gas fee to mint it. And somebody, kind of said in a snarky way, well, you can't say it's free if there's a gas fee to mint it. Well, the gas fee is the price to do crypto. So there's nothing you can do without a gas fee. So it's kind of, it's not irrelevant, but at the same time, it's irrelevant because that's the price of doing crypto. So knowing that it's a free coin and that it's in a hyperinflationary state, what are the expectations of Xen, Jack?
Well, I think my personal expectations are something like this. So history doesn't really repeat itself, but it definitely rhymes. And I feel like Bitcoin was launched in a vacuum before people knew what blockchain is all about. And at this point, we know what blockchain is all about, what it can do. And so the expectation is to have similar adoption to Bitcoin. At least Xen was designed to take the best from Bitcoin, and it has the game mechanics and game theory added to it that benefit adoption by inviting more people to the protocol so that you just end up getting more Xen when you get your friends playing with it. And so in terms of value, I feel like the community itself is value. The community of people who are minting Xen together has value. The dollar amount per Xen is really an afterthought. The primary, I guess, first principle thinking here is that if we can get 50% of the people in the world to get into crypto, then maybe 5% of those people will design new amazing stuff and build on top of Xen or come up with a Xen with better Xen perhaps. And ultimately the dollar value is there, but it really should be expressed in the engagement, activity, new things built on top of it, so on and so forth.
Okay, perfect. And I was asking you another question before I asked that question, and I completely forgot what it was. Do you have any idea what it was? Must not have been that important. There's a debate in the chat right now. Some are saying it's not free. I mean, there still seems to be a lot of focus put on gas fees. And I mean, I'll throw it out there. How else do you get an airdrop coin without gas fees? Oh, I should say, I said that backwards. An airdrop could be free, I guess, without a gas fee. But outside of that, this is, there's computational power being done here because you're
Well,
minting.
actually, speaking of airdrop, somebody pays for the airdrop. To send 100,000 coins anywhere is going to cost you $100,000 just to do an airdrop. So somebody pays for a transaction. And gas is, why does gas exist? If gas was zero, there would be no incentives for anyone to secure the blockchain, and there would be no blockchain. And so gas is something we pay to secure and have our transactions be done in a safe manner. And that is what this whole thing is about. It's about safety and self-custody and consensus. And consensus can only run if there's enough incentives for the group of miners or stakers or proof of stake validators to work together in a concert to make everything safe and secure so that nobody can take our coins away from us. So anytime you pay gas, you're actually securing the future of your own holdings.
That's a really good way to put it. I like that. Quick question here from Xen Rich Mose. Will it work on the XRP ledger?
Xen will work on any EVM compatible blockchains. So people should feel free to take Xen's code and put it anywhere and play with it, because it is open source. So they can go into our GitHub, clone the code, run it on their local blockchain on their MacBook or their laptop, or they can load it into a testnet anywhere and see how it works.
Perfect. I'm seeing a lot of comments about people using this as a way to get their kids into it. This is social impact DAO. My 13-year-old has 40 wallets on Polygon filled with Xen claims. This is cool. This, to me, I hadn't heard this before. Now this is the second or third person putting it in the chat. This is really bullish to me. I like it.
I like it too.
What benefits are for the Xen community in the near future besides learning more about crypto? Well, the more you know about crypto, the more likely you're to be successful in it. That's my thought. What about you?
Well, I think the benefit specifically for the Xen community is that you're participating in a fair launch, right? So we launched fairly, which means that you didn't have to buy any coins from anybody. You just made them yourself. And that thing alone, plus self-custody, is if we can tell that to another 100 million people that they can do that, that's hugely positive for the community, because everyone who clicks mint is a part of the community. And what's amazing, in the last 7 days, the webpage received 14 million mint clicks. So that's not bots. That's not anybody running scripts. That's literally people coming into the web page and clicking mint 14 million times in 7 days, which is incredible. So the page itself was loaded 7 million times. So it's about a million page views every day, because it was 7 days, so 7 million. And then people tried at least 2 wallets. Maybe they tried different chains, for example. So you can do Ethereum and you can do Polygon. And so, yeah, that's amazing stats. So definitely, and I think if somebody new to crypto, like somebody's 12 or 13-year-old is playing with an interface and they feel that it is safe, that is the best experience somebody could have with crypto the first time.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's really, really cool. We have an interesting question here. This is something that has been asked. There's people saying, why did you call Richard a scammer as a joke on the live stream, and then go on to make further comments about supporting Pulse Chain if the OA address was to burn these tokens? I've got my thoughts on this, but that's irrelevant. What do you say when someone says, hey, why did you make those comments about Richard looking like a scammer unless he burns the OA? Which you didn't volunteer that information. Somebody asked you the question, what could make Hex look more legitimate? I think that's an important.
So my first live stream with Richard, we were just having a friendly conversation, and Richard asked me, "What can he do better?" And I said, "Blow up your Lambo." I mean, if Richard is all about outrage marketing, then what can be more outrageous than blowing stuff up that you own, right? So that was a joke, obviously. I mean, nobody has to blow up anything if they don't want to. And I also said that Richard kind of looks like a scammer, but I also immediately added that's why he's not a scammer, because scammers don't look like scammers. They look like somebody else. You know, they're trying to hide something where Richard is just doing his thing. You know, he's being Richard. So totally fine with me. Anybody can be whatever they want. Was there a question about Pulse Chain or something?
Oh, it was just the statement you made on the, I think it was a Twitter Spaces about getting rid of the OA.
Yeah. So people ask me why is the world think Richard is a scammer? And I said, well, most of the streams I saw people attacking Richard is due to the OA being so huge. It's like 90% or something, right? And that is what it looks like, what a scammer would do. And one of the ways not to give people energy and ability to call you anything is just not have it. And that was my response. So I don't know what else to say on the subject. I mean, it is a pretty basic answer or pretty basic question. Somebody blames you for having something, okay, give it up if you have it. If you don't have it, then prove you don't have it. So then nobody can call you anything because they have nothing to blame you for.
That's pretty straightforward. Oh boy, there's all sorts of stuff going on here.
How many people do we have on the stream right now?
344.
Nice. Let's make it 500. Hey guys, bring your friends in.
Yeah. And tell them they're welcome to ask any questions, even if it's, you know, I don't want to say attack. I want people to be nice, but if you have a legitimate question, as many have, and we've aired them. Yeah, people are saying, hey, another stream with you and Richard Hart would be great. Would you do that?
Sure, I don't see why not. I mean, if we have a civil conversation and we, you know, if it's a repeat of our original stream, then I would welcome it. I don't see why not. I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah. I've seen some people on Twitter saying this. I lost $750 USDT here in the Xen and MXen coin. Do you feel ashamed to have robbed people of that money?
Well, first of all, I don't feel ashamed because I didn't take anybody's money. If the person made a trade, then they gave their money to someone else.
Voluntarily,
maybe they were excited. I mean, we do all kinds of things all the time. I mean, I lost money on crypto before, and completely normal to lose your money sometimes when you buy it at the wrong price. I don't particularly feel that it's my responsibility to, especially due to the fact that I never told anybody to buy anything. So if I were to say, hey, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, rush and buy it, then that would be a different story. In fact, I told people that this is a free coin. You don't have to buy it. You can mint it for free. It's written in my white paper. It's been on many different streams out there. And so I feel like I went above and beyond full disclosure, what the project stands for and how you can acquire it. I never said that you have to buy it from someone.
Well, I mean, maybe that person bought it from an exchange, or maybe they spent $750 in gas fees to mint it. But I will say that, you know, I streamed with you a few times leading up to the launch, and you were very clear that you knew that it was the first several hours, the gas fees were going to be extremely high. And you said more than once, just wait longer, wait until the hype dies down and mint once the GUI gets below 20. And then it's a very reasonable mint price, and you're not going to miss out by being a day, 2 days, 3 days behind. In fact, in my experience, the longer I've waited to mint, I'm still minting. I mint one wallet a day. It's just fun. And
it's
I
fun.
minted this morning. I think Gwei was like 9, and it cost me $2.10 to mint. So
Awesome.
you were very transparent on what was going to happen, how the launch was going to go, and you warned people not to let FOMO get the better of them and spend too much money on gas.
There's 8 years to go for Zen Mint. So Zen Mint will reach its lowest point exactly after 3,000 days. It's been 8 days. So 8 days as a percentage of 3,000 is not even 1%. Every month, the minting difficulty increases, compounding about 1%. So by November 8th, which is going to be roughly 30 days, you would be minting 1% less. Now, can you survive 1% less mint? All you need to do is extend it by a single day. So if you're minting for 100 days and you decide that you have to mint for 101 days, it's no big deal. That's just 1% on top of 101. I mean, on top of 100. So,
yes. I had a question come in I wanted to ask, and I lost it. Do you see? I mean, you're looking at the questions as well. What do you see here that you want to talk about?
they told me that my restream is not having any sound, so I turned it off. I know why it doesn't have sound, because I'm wearing headphones. So I never restreamed before, so major fail on the restream. It's okay.
It
I'll
happens.
just I'll put this video into my playlist later.
It's the first principles of crypto peer-to-peer with no middlemen. So Zen being on centralized exchanges is not first principle. Okay. Did you put the Zen on centralized exchanges, or how did that happen? This is a great point, Great White. Let's talk about it.
Sure. So I have never engaged with centralized exchanges before Zen launch. And the first morning after the launch, those exchanges scheduled the release themselves. So they wanted to create a market. They wanted to become market makers. And it's their choice to do. It's their business. Anybody in this world can make their own choices and do how they like it without my input. I didn't pay them money. They just thought that the project was interesting, and they thought that they could benefit their community with Zen being listed. So Zen as the protocol is first principles, has first principles encoded. It's basically on blockchain. What happens after is entirely up to the world how they want to treat it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that minting new coin is helping the token to grow its value?
I think it depends on the situation. If some 12-year-old gets into crypto by minting a coin, creating a new coin for themselves, and in the future they become a genius like Vitalik, then absolutely it will grow in value, because they'll have that story and they will tell the world how they got into crypto. And if that is something that they produce that's amazing, like whether it's another version of Uniswap or something we've never seen before, that is value in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to give a shout out to Hexiest Man in the World. If you've got some questions for me, type them in again, because I cannot find them in the comments. I've got an awful lot of comments coming in here. Heinz Crypto, good to see you. Thank you for being in here. Ocean Breeze, Hex McKenzie, 344. I wonder what that means. You know what? I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to guess that's how many wallets she's minted Zen with. Either that or she was responding to somebody else, but that's my guess for the sake of this conversation.
All right.
What else? I mean, what else do we see in here? The whole point of our stream today was to engage in the community. A lot of people are saying, similar questions, similar things. I mean, here's a good point. I saw this just a second ago, and I see what's happening. They're just disappearing so fast. All right, we got a super chat from PNW Hex. Thank you, first of all, for your generosity. That's amazing. $5, very nice. What's next for Zen? Jack, are you done or working on something for Zen's future? And I don't know how to get this question up there. One day I'll be a good streamer.
I saw it. So the question about Zen's future and whether I'm done with it or not. I'm definitely not done. I'm gonna try to do more things with it. But my number one objective is for Xen to be accepted by other DeFi protocols out there. There's a number of DeFi protocols that I know of is now using Xen for staking. So they are allowing their communities to stake Xen and to pay APY with their protocol's coin. So whatever that might be. I know ETHPow is doing something with their power swap, giving some sort of bonus with Xen. So what I like to do is I like to engage and work with creators out there and developers to bring the interest to their projects by integrating Xen or help them integrate Xen with their projects too. So that is my number one objective today.
Okay. I don't know what I've done here. I've gotten rid of my comment somehow. I'm really struggling. Hexiest man in the world gives a super sticker. I apologize, dude. That wasn't like an ask free to do that. That's very generous of you. He's actually asking to join the chat. Would you be open to another respectful person jumping on and asking some questions?
Absolutely. Of course.
You got to show your face, though. That's the number one rule on the Crypto Kindness channel is we don't I don't talk to people that are, well, I shouldn't say that. I talk to whales only. So there goes that rule, but that dude's awesome. So Hexiest man, check your DMs. I will send you an invite. And that's going to take me a minute to do. And I cannot do all this at the same time. We got another super chat. People are being very generous today. Thank you very much. Always appreciated. What are your thoughts about Xen Burn and other projects that have a goal of burning Xen supply? I'm not familiar with that. So I'll let Jack answer while I try to figure out how to invite this other gentleman on.
I have seen some tweets about Xen Burn, and I welcome all protocols. So if you can convince people to burn their Xen and somehow they find it beneficial, then that's a plus. So any sort of engagement is good. Xen does have proof of burn function where you can build an extension with a different contract that actually will request Xen to be burned, and it will be removed from the supply. So anybody who is building projects that are burning Xen, by all means, you guys should play with it. There was one idea that one could make an NFT proof of burn. Like, for example, they can let their users to have a deposit of Xen that's like, let's say 1 million Xen, and then they burn it, and they can issue a little certificate in the form of an NFT saying, I just burned 1 million Xen, or I burned 10 million Xen. It may have other features in it. Like, for example, it took me 1 year to make 10 million Xen, and I burned it all, and now I have this NFT. So it's kind of cool. It will consolidate the Xen that you generated into something else entirely. You can transform it. So
you're familiar with this? Have you seen this? I mean, the Xen burn?
I've seen their Twitter profile. I haven't talked to them directly yet, though.
Well, I must be doing something right. I'm finally getting scammers in my chats. I feel like it's a badge of honor. So, so turning a Xen burn into an NFT, that's a pretty good idea. There's been a lot of good ideas. Somebody, let's see. Is Xen the way for Jack to recover his losses on Luna? Well, that's an assumption that there's losses on Luna. I mean, I got to laugh. There's humor in this. I appreciate it. It is what it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The mental satisfaction I get from launching crypto so popular on day one and then a week later definitely covers all my losses.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It is just your mental satisfaction. That's really cool. Add me up. This is a kind of you, D. Arvo. I apologize. I don't know how to do that on the fly, and you guys don't want to watch me sit here and try to think. That would be embarrassing for everybody. and here we go with the name calling, crap coin, scam coin. You know what? That's okay. Like I said, I invited people on here. I actually want to hear some. I don't know that that's respectful, but respectful discourse. We can agree to disagree. We can have a respectful conversation, and that's the whole point. And that's one of the things I love about Jack and why I've had him on so much. That I believe that this is good for crypto as a whole. I am bullish on it. I am not shilling it. I'm not telling people to buy it or mint it, it's just like, hey, this is a positive thing as a whole for crypto. So, did Xen actually experience a Sybil attack, or does the fact that Xen encourages multiple wallets give the appearance of an attack from a single node? I'm pretty sure you're speaking English, but I don't know what you're saying. So, Jack,
I know what they're saying.
I
So
figured.
so let me ask you a question. Before you even met me, how many wallets did you have? More than one? More than
I did
two?
have more than one. I would say I probably had like 12.
All right. So I would say if we ask anybody out there how many wallets they had, they probably had more than 2 or 3. And so Zen's protocol allows you to participate with your wallets. Does it mean it's being attacked? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that you can run parallel mints as long as you pay gas. And that makes it fair. If you have 1 million wallets and each transaction cost you $2, you would have spent $2 million on gas. You're not sending that gas money to anybody besides securing Ethereum and helping blockchain to be more secure for everybody. So that's actually a great contribution for all of us. If there was no gas and nobody would spend any gas and nobody would use many wallets, then, well, number one, you would have less security, and number two, you would have less secure network.
Very much so. This is a question. What's up with the Zen attack and the 100 million coins? You and I spoke about this offline yesterday. You did a great job of explaining it to me. Honestly, afterwards, I went and tried to learn more about the FTX thing to see if it was reproducible, but I couldn't figure it out. But talk about this, because as you described it to me, it was not a hack.
Yeah, so FTX, according to my research, and I may be somewhat wrong about this, but I'll do my best to explain it. FTX sells FTT tokens that you can freely buy on their exchange. They have a feature where if you stake those FTT tokens, you will get some free gas besides the APY that they also give you. So they're benefiting the FTT holders, which is FTX themselves, plus all of the people that hold FTT token before you buy it. So they encourage people to buy it, and they give you some free gas. And so it appears, and now that hasn't been confirmed by FTX, so we don't know that this to be true, but there was a report that somebody who had a lot of FTT tokens decided to take the free gas and mint a lot of Zen for themselves. Now, that's completely legit thing to do, legitimate, because it's part of the business model of FTX. So there was no any sort of breaking the rules were happening. Somebody did do a combination, an interesting combination where they decided to use gas to mint Zen. Now, they could have used gas to do something else. They chose Zen. Now, it doesn't mean Zen was attacked. It just means that it was popular at the time, and they decided to use their free gas for something that's they found interesting.
All right, very good. We've got another guest here. I'm going to go ahead and invite him on. This is kind of fun. I've talked with this gentleman many times through Twitter before. I've never actually had him on stream, so this is something new for me to bring somebody on. We've got Hexiest Man in the world with us. How you
How's
doing,
it going, gentlemen? Doing
you.
well. How about you? Hey, you
We're
as
doing
well,
great.
Jack. I think we've spoken in Twitter Spaces before, albeit briefly. So
May
yeah, I
I
won't take. Yeah, go ahead.
just real quick? Thank you. Two things. I try to not swear on the channel. We try to be respectful and kind. And I know you don't do these things on your channel, but just, and please no personal attacks.
Hey, listen, absolutely not. First of all, I want to say that Crypto Kindness, I got a lot of respect for you as far as your journey through crypto. You're a very kind guy. I think you're we got a lot of buddies in common, and you're just a very nice individual, and I think that's that comes across, and I think that's very welcoming to people into the space, and I mean that shows by your increased followers. And Jack, I mean, man, your history in tech goes way back, man. I mean, you're part of the stuff that we use daily, and so a lot of respect to you for doing that, and also you've done something that is that has gotten the whole crypto community buzzing. So and something that, you know, could potentially be revolutionary. We'll see. You know, I mean, it's pretty cool. So I just had a couple questions that just because I've been following all of this closely, all the different interviews, kind of from your Maddie interview to your Richard interview and things like that. And I just had a couple questions that I couldn't really properly frame in the chat. Maybe it's because I'm too verbose or whatever, but you know, I just really didn't. I kept typing it, and then YouTube only allows so many characters. So because I typed them out briefly. Does it cut out when I do that?
It does. We don't see you. We just see a black screen.
Oh.
Still nothing.
Can you hear me when I do that?
Yeah, we can.
You hear me, or do you can still hear me when I swap out?
Yes.
Okay. I think so. I don't know if I can hear him either.
Nope. Something fishy.
Yeah, looks like okay, so I'll just freestyle it then. So basically,
freestyle is the best.
You want me to beatbox too? I can beatbox.
Hey, I can as well, man. I did it at the Hexpo in Maddie's when DJ Cryptomatic couldn't get a beat on. I did the beatbox for him, so I'm on camera doing it, man, at the conference. So basically, so I think, I mean, obviously there's been some fractures, and at least in the Hex community, we've seen some issues where some are supporting Xen, some aren't, etc. And I think the issue that I've noticed that I think kind of more to me and is, a question that I have is this is, as far as your foray, and I heard you in the earlier part of the stream, your foray into crypto streaming and then into creating your own Jack coin. You mentioned that it was on a Hex streamer's channel when someone had brought up when Jack coin. And, when we stream, people will say when Hexius man coin or whenever. Sometimes it's cynical, probably because of your credentials, etc. People were probably intending it more sincerely. I don't know who said it. However, I believe that was on a Hexkin stream. I think you told Jim Rad it perhaps could have been on his stream. Could have been on Richard's, could have been on Maddie's. But it seemed like after that you streamed with a lot of Hexicans, right? One after another, and that really and you had a lot of support from us, man. I mean, you still got a lot of support from a number of folks, including Crypto Kindness that's on the screen. And and I didn't really notice you streaming about crypto before this. I could be wrong, and maybe that's my naivety, or simply I haven't noticed it. But my question is, do you feel that? And this is another point I need to frame it with: is a lot of the points that Richard would get hammered on, as far as talking about the first principles of crypto. I mean, having your own, having your own your own custody to your coins, things like that, and some of the things that Richard just spouts over and over and over. It's like I really would only hear those from Richard. Started hearing from some other people, but I hear a lot of the same points that Richard touts from you. And so I guess the question I have is, do you feel you give Richard and the Hex community enough due in terms of credit when you kind of share your story about how you came to come up with this coin, especially given kind of the idea came up on a Hex streamer's channel?
Yeah, I think, I mean, listen, all of those tweets that I made about Hexicans and Hex and Richard, and even yesterday I tweeted about Richard. So I give a lot of credit to the community, and I talk about it, and I even have friends that made a coaster.
Right, sure.
Like that. So clearly I have not been, I would say in my mind, not quiet about it, and I'm not ashamed about it in any way. And I think Richard did a lot of good for the world in terms of bringing the, or rather reciting, I would say, blockchain tenets, what they are. And I feel like that was a huge benefit from everybody out there. For Hexicans who invested in Hex, and as well as people who are considering to invest in Hex, or just like to listen to what he has to say. And so all of the streams that I have done with many guys from this community, they're all recorded, they're all online, and they're there perpetually. I hope I have linked them off my channel. My channel has a list of all of the videos I have done where I talk about what I like about hacks and what I like about this community and all of those things. So I feel like I've definitely brought a lot of attention to the community and to the first principles and to Richard potentially. So I feel good about yeah.
Well, and likewise too, right? I mean, I think that it's, I think it's been mutually beneficial, the relationship, and I guess maybe just some feedback that I guess I might give is like, I remember that when you first announced your project, Pulse Chain was on that list of chains that you wanted to launch on, at least from what I remember from some of the earliest streams, and then it seems like then and there were no criteria attached to that. And then it seemed like, as you started going on and this is just from an observation, right? It seemed like as things started to grow, and maybe again, when you tell your story, as many times as you do, I can see how it just naturally changes. So this isn't an accusation. I'm just trying to give some feedback, is that it seems like Pulse Chain was one of those original chains you said you were going to launch on. Then it seemed to have some criteria. And then when you tell your story, how you started getting into this space, it's like I start hearing Richard being left out of it. I start hearing Hexkins being left out of it. And although you were in blockchain earlier than, I mean, you were minting, I think it was back in 2009, you were mining, or 2010 you started mining.
2011.
And 2011 and 2013 was when I bought my first Bitcoin. And anyway, my point is that you've shared all that, but I guess it just seems like as it goes on, and maybe it's because of some of the perception of the Hex community, I don't know, but I'm just giving feedback that it seems that as it goes on, as your story goes on, as you share more, it just seems like the Hexkins and Richard seem to be less and less and less part of the story as you tell it. Whereas when you first told it, it was like, yeah, it was on your show and it was on this and that. It was one of the Hexkins that suggested this and this and this and this. And now it's like, well, I was on a stream and someone mentioned that I do an apple cider vinegar coin. And I'm not trying to be petty. I'm just trying to give feedback to where I think, and I'm still only speaking for myself, but I get a good read on the community. And I think that people start to maybe feel like, hey man, we helped, like you brought a lot of viewers to us. We feel that, additionally, a lot of people started following you in the crypto space. And, I think that we just seem to notice a story shift. And I guess the whole point is just, I'm not asking you to do anything different. I just think I'm giving feedback of, I think that's where some of the frustration might come from.
Sure.
So
I totally understand how it could be perceived that way. And I would say, I mean, so far, I don't think I have streamed with anyone else out there who is not connected to the Hex community. Pretty much every stream that I have done so far, 100%, was with this community and I am tweeting those videos clearly. So they're on my Twitter. My Twitter has 380,000 followers now. So the exposure, and I would say de facto credit, is definitely there, just because I feel no need to censor, and I do not feel like I am ashamed in any way to be associated with this community or Hex or Richard. I tweeted about Richard yesterday. I have tweeted this video. There's hexagon shapes behind the videos right now, and so in terms of Pulse Chain, it's still Xen is still running on Pulse Chain right now. People are playing with it.
Right. I mean, due to the copy, right? I mean, either way, it's
not a copy. I put it there. I put it there myself.
On testnet.
Yeah, I put it there myself, and I invited people that didn't know what Pulse Chain was to play with it, because I said, hey, it seems to be easier to get money from Pulse Chain faucet to play with Xen. And so a lot of people play with Xen. Actually, more people played with Xen on Pulse Chain than Ethereum testnet. And I was very happy about that. I told people to do it. So it's still there and it's still working, and people can still do it. And I can still tell people that if they want to play with it, it's a fine chain to experience. So gotcha. Yeah, I don't think the story really changed, but I can see how the signal to noise ratio is adjusting towards Xen, just because people are interested in the new project. And it feels like before I had the idea for Xen, I didn't have any idea of my own to talk about, and now I do. And so obviously it takes more mental real estate in my mind, and so it may appear that I talk more about Zen than Hex, perhaps. And so, but it isn't necessarily anything unnatural.
And you're and I appreciate that. And I just want to, I guess, just ask you. You still are a supporter of Hex. I mean, you stated clearly, and I heard what you said. I heard you like, I think that some people misinterpreted what you said on the stream when you were saying, and maybe I missed some of them, but the one that I heard was you were basically saying, like, you know, one of the ways Richard could prove he's not a scammer is basically to burn those coins. However, you also acknowledge that those coins need a feature. And I think Trevon kind of asked you these questions on Jim Rat's stream when he said, like, you know, what would you do in his position? But I guess I'm just saying, like, you seem to be very interested in Hex. You thought it was awesome. You were very interested in Pulse Chain. You thought it was awesome. I guess I just want to make sure that you still hold those same beliefs, or ask if you still hold those same beliefs.
Of course. I think it's awesome.
Okay.
I think there was a lot of thought put into Hex. It had very interesting dynamics in it. And in terms of Richard being called a scammer, I never said that he is a scammer.
Yeah, I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a response to a question: what could Richard do to take away the reasons for other people to call him a scammer?
Right.
And I said that, well, the biggest issue is the original address. It has the mechanics that helps Zen to be what it is, but it's also a target. And that's I still believe that's a target, and it lets other people to, you know, to have energy or to have something to talk about.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I do want to I kind of want to, I'm running out of time here, so I do want to get back into a few more questions that are a little bit more.
That's fine. That's kind of where that's what I basically wanted to get across. Obviously, you know, Jack, maybe we chat another time or something. Crypto Kindness will definitely be chatting. I appreciate the time of both of you guys. I just wanted to ask those questions and kind of get some of that clarity and also give that feedback. So thank you guys, and I'll let you get back to your stream. Thanks for letting me pop on.
And so in conclusion, I would say if Pulse Chain was up right now, Zen would be on it. Okay. So, and I would be supporting it. For sure.
Now that will be interesting though, because there will be Zen coins already forked onto Pulse Chain. So the question would be, what would you do as far as the mint feature and the pre-existing PZen coins? So anyway, that's something you don't need to answer with me on, but it's something I was wondering, like, well, hey, if they're already going to be duplicated,
PZen is something entirely different. So
well, no. Sorry, I'm not meaning PZen, that project. I'm not talking about Conrad's project. I'm talking about, since these coins already exist and we're cutting system state will be copied, the Ethereum Zen coins will already be copied onto Pulse Chain. And so you will already have Zen contract coins on Pulse Chain, yet you will also potentially be having this mint feature. And so I'm saying that will be the first chain that you'll be launching on where Zen tokens already exist, you know?
True.
And so that's the point of what I was meaning. But anyway, no need to address it now. I've taken enough time. I just wanted to at least give that feedback and point out where at least I personally started noticing, like, it seems like you're trailing off, giving acknowledgement to, like, kind of where it came up. But maybe I'm not following you enough. So I'll stop chatting and I'll let you guys go.
All right.
Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate that.
All right. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Yep. Bye. That was a little bit of a different direction there, but it is something that I think was worth.
I think it's a valid question. Yeah,
it is
still valid.
There are people that think that, like, you came in, you were excited about. Well, he just went through it. No need to recap all that, but so there's a lot of people saying it's kind of silly that you do need to defend yourself. I mean, you came up with something unique on your own and you launched it, and it is what it is. I mean, there's no need to defend yourself. You had in a mission, and I agree with the mission, which is get more people on board, especially those that aren't currently there. What a fun week we had. Got to use AVAX and Matic for the first time. You know what? This is really good. So Adam Martin, thank you for pointing this out. I also had never used AVAX. I'd never used Matic until the Zen launch. So kind of going back to the narrative of your idea behind why you launched Zen, to teach people crypto and to get people into crypto. You got me, and it sounds like Adam Martin as well, into different cryptos. I had never bought AVAX. I'd never bought Polygon, Matic, and I never used their chains. So even, I've been in crypto for 2.5 years. I have learned because of Zen. So that's a great point, Adam. Thank you for bringing that up.
That's amazing.
Yes. Anything else in the chat you want to see, you want to discuss here? I'm trying to think about, I feel like I've hit you with the questions I'm hearing the most. I think it's important to say, you know, what is this? BTC for retirement, you'll be rugged. So let's talk about that. I've heard that. Oh, it's a rug pull. How can you rug pull a coin that is given to you for free? How do you plan to rug pull this, Jack?
Well, listen, if people have ideas how I can do it, I'd love to hear it. I mean, just saying that something may happen. I mean, well, the sun could explode tomorrow. The question is, will it? I mean, technically it's possible, but probably will take another 6 billion years. So I don't have a way to rug pull people. That is the direct answer. I mean, and I don't have a Lambo to blow up. So
I like this. Hate never wins. Absolutely. Corey Tate, appreciate that. Just cause turmoil and corruption. That's not necessarily the opposite of the first principles. That's exactly right. There's no need to hate. Jack, my question is, when are we going to Phil's Coffee? Oh, it sounds like you know the Hexagon. You know about Phil's Coffee?
I do.
Nice.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see. What is... we can do it tomorrow.
Okay. I want to go.
Come to Los Gatos. That's where we're having our Phil's Coffee. Nice. with the Hexagon.
Well, I will end the stream with this question. There's been a lot of, and first of all, Jack, I want to say thank you, just from me, but as well as from the 450 people that have been on this stream listening. Thank you for being open to hearing questions that don't, they're not the fun questions. They're the maybe accusations or why did you do this? The fact that you're willing to come on and have a conversation, open conversation with me and others about this, I think really shows us a lot about your character. So thank you for that. The question I'd like to end with is there's been a lot of, it's going to rug, it's going to bleed out to oblivion. Everybody likes to focus on the negative. Let's play the what if game. What if all of those people are wrong? And what if Xen does become a worldwide adopted coin? Let's play the what if opposite side of the what if negative, the what if positive. What if it becomes what you seek for it to become, which is, something that 96% of the world plays with? What would that look like?
Well, I think it would be amazing. I mean, it's been 7 days and we see people getting introduced to different chains they've never been on before. We see 12 and 13-year-olds getting into crypto safely, and their parents feel like it's okay to try and to experiment so that they can experience self-custody for the first time. I think it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, and I'm very glad that it's working. But I think it's not just up to me, it's up to the world, and it's up to you guys to make it even better. And so all together, we can make it into a very, very positive experience for many people out there. And so I think Xen encapsulates first principles. And if you believe in freedom and self-custody and ownership of something that is you truly own, and you believe what blockchain stands for, then you would be, I mean, I'm not going to say minting Xen, but at least you can talk about it and say, hey, there is a fair crypto that exists. And it's fair because blockchain tells you so. It's consensus. Nobody can change its code. Nobody can stop it. It's open source. And it belongs literally to everyone. It doesn't belong to me. The idea was for me to launch it, but it was technically a small prick. I just thought what blockchain was meant to be. And I built an API or an interface that's basically an app on top of blockchain. But everything else is just blockchain. So altogether, I mean, my team and I feel like we were standing on the shoulders of the giants, and I like this phrase a lot because I'm very grateful to Satoshi who came up with Bitcoin, and obviously Vitalik that gave us a sandbox to play with and design programmable money, And obviously Richard for bringing all the wonderful people in this community together and connecting people that can do great things. So all together we can do better.
Exactly right. Excellent. Well, that's it for me. I got to run and feed my kids dinner. So that's what's important today. Jack, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you to everybody that was here. Thank you to the several people that gave super chats to this conversation today. Appreciate your generosity. And most importantly, whether you're bullish on Xen, whether you're hating on Xen, let's do a better job of being respectful to each other. We all have different opinions. That doesn't mean we can't be friends. We can be respectful. We can shake hands. We can have a beer together when we meet in person. It's important to just be kind. And that's the nature behind my channel. And I do appreciate everybody that was in the chat today doing their best to be kind. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your kindness for having me again. Let's talk soon.
Yes.
Bye.